Shri Radha Krishna Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Shri Mathura Dham ki jai, Shri Nityananda Dham ki jai, Shri Ram Sankirtan ki jai. All glories to the ascended devotees of Krishna. All glories to Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're waiting for our translator. Anybody understand English? Then we don't need. Is anybody what needs? Today we lecture about the Sri Shikshastakam prayers, which are the prayers that the only scriptural inheritance from Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is 8 shlokas in the Shikshastakam, and they are all in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in the 20th chapter of the Antya Lila. And first I will read the 3 verses which are before these verses, because they are like somewhat introductory to them, starting from the verse 8 of chapter 20. Harshe Prabhu kahena shuna swarup ramarai nama sankirtana kala upai. In great jubilation, Sri Chaitanya said, Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy, the chanting of the holy names of the most is the most visible means of salvation in this age of Kali. Text 9. Sankirtan Yagya Kalau Krishna Adhana Seta Suradhapai Krishna Racharana. In this age of Kali, the process of worshipping Krishna is to perform sacrifice by chanting the holy name of the Lord. One who does so is certainly very intelligent, and he attains shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada has a short purport to this one. He says, for further information, one may refer to the Adi Lila, chapter 3, text 77 to 78. The text. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parsharam Yaya Sankirtana Praya Yirjantihi Sumedasa. This verse is very famous actually. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. So the prophet, another very short purport. This verse is spoken by Saint Karabhajana in Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, chapter 5, text 32. For further information, see Adi Lila, chapter 3, text 52. Then text 11. Nama Sankirtan Hoite Sarvanam Sanasa Sarva Subhadaya Krishna Brahmana Ulasa. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, one can be freed from all undesirable habits. This is the means of awakening all good fortune and initiating the flow of waves of love for Krishna. Ki Jai. Ki Jai. Love for Krishna. So then we come to the first verse of the Shikshastakam prayers, which I will lecture a little bit about. I have taken this from His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Swami's lecture, which I will online, and that he has given that in this verse there are 7 perfections. I will repeat what he was saying, practically speaking, about it. Those 7 perfections, what they are. So the verse goes, you can repeat if you like. Chaitodarpanamarjanam bhavamahadavam nirvapanam Shreyakairavarchandrika vitaranam Vidyavadhujivanam Anandamrudivardhanam Ratipadam Purnamrita Swaranam Sarvatmasnapanam Aram Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So the translation goes, let there be all victory for the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna, which can cleanse the mirror of the heart and stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. That chanting is the waxing moon that spreads the white lotus of good fortune for all living entities. It is the life and soul of all education. The chanting of the holy name of Krishna expands the blissful ocean of transcendental life. It gives a cooling effect to everyone and enables one to taste the full nectar at every step. So Srila has a short purport for this one also. This is the first verse of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Shikshastaka. The other 7 verses are found in text 16, 21, 29, 32, 36, 39, and 47. Om Yanatimramesya Imanyanasvaka Chakshushu Militam Yanatasvai Shri Gurave Namaha. So there is 7 perfections mentioned by His Grace Bhakti Rasamrita Swami. Bhakti Rasamrita, yes. And the first one is the first part of the verse, Chaitodarpana Marjanam. That this Sankirtan movement of Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Hare Krishna movement, it comes to cleanse our mirror of the heart. Because we have been in this material existence for millions of births, and we have accumulated so much material contamination, all kinds of materialistic ideas and conceptions and attachments, and so on and so forth. So this cleansing of the heart takes place in this age, especially by the chanting of the holy name. But then one might think that, oh, I've been chanting for so long. Like one person said, why is nothing happening? I'm chanting, not much happening. I'm chanting for 1 year. And then it was said that, oh, 1 year, what is that? We have been millions of lifetimes. a gathering sometimes it doesn't go away so quickly. And also, of course, our quality of the chanting can be less in the beginning, of course, because of recovering also. It's like one could compare with a dam breaking. A huge dam can break, but in the beginning it might be only one crack, which builds up within 1 year. Maybe the crack becomes visible, and then some more cracks come after a few months, and then some more. They might become deformation after a few weeks, and then after a few days, the whole dam breaks and the floods of water they escape. So in a similar way, the process of Krishna consciousness is gradual cleansing of the heart by the chanting of the holy name. In the beginning, we don't have so much faith, we don't, and we are very much spaced out, as at least speaking for myself. And so then we don't advance very fast, and then we might become a little bit frustrated. But it is said that be patient and consider that even within one lifetime of 70 to 100 years, whatever, if one can perfect the chanting of the holy name, that is very fast in the time span of millions of births we were here battling around in the material world. So first perfection of the gift of the holy name, of course it gives some taste very quickly, so that we will know that there is something and encourage us to go on. But the real deeper taste comes more the more we can cleanse the mirror of the heart, and then we can experience more of our true nature as servants of Lord Krishna. And the next perfection is in the Bhava Mahadavani Nirvapanam. That this material existence is like a forest fire, burning our lusty desires and all kind of egoistic things and anger and greed and avarice and false ego and so on. They all the time disturbing us. And this Sankirtan movement, it helps us to extinguish that burning forest fire in our heart. Bhava is the material existence. This word means to become. So what do we become here? We become sick, we become old, we become frustrated, we become anxious, we become greedy for something that we don't get, and we get old, and we also die, birth after birth. So that is the bhava, the forest fire of material existence. And this Sankirtan movement and the chanting of the holy names, that liberates us from this forest fire to our eternal true quality of blissful spiritual life. Our next blessing is Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. This Sankirtan movement is spreading the rays of the benediction moon to all living entities. Like if the moon is shining in the night sky, it doesn't look that, oh, there is a nasty guy who is planning to do something very bad. I will not shine on that one. No. The moon shines on everybody. And similarly, this Lord Chaitanya Sankirtan movement, it is shining on everyone, and it's only up to the individual person's desire and so on, that if he will accept this mercy. But still there is possible for unknown Agyata Sukriti, just by the Sankirtan movement. For example, spreading the holy names by doing Harinams, so that they hear the holy name and that they get spiritual blessing from that. For their eternal benefit, it goes to their spiritual bank account, and the same if they take some prasad. Although they might not know anything that it's prasad, it doesn't matter, it's prasad, it's offered to the Lord, it is blessed, and there is a blessing, and it goes to the eternal bank account again. And hearing Krishna conscious philosophy about our true nature as servants of the Lord, at the same. Also, hearing or reading, also there is a benefit. So that is the benediction moon. There is a story about one King Akbar. Long time ago, he had a very, Indian people know about the minister Birbal, who was very, very sharp fantastic advisor to the king. And he was such that he was the only person who could say something to admonish the king, because he had such respect for who he was. So one morning the king he wake up in the morning, and then he thought, oh, I want to see the nature now in the morning. It's so nice with the sun rising and all. So he went to the balcony or whatever, like palaces. They have this kind of nice things they can go outdoors and enjoy the scenery. And there was a street below, and there he saw some plain washerman walking there, and the washerman he paid his respect to the king with a gesture. But the king, unfortunately, he then happened to fall over in such a way. It just happened to fall over, so he hit his nose on the rail of the balcony, bunks, or his jaw, whatever. So he got a little bit hurt. And that was not fun at all. So then he was thinking, because he was a pious king, so he think, oh no, is this some bad omen or what's going on? So his ministers, they told him, asked him, did you encounter something inauspicious that why this happened? Then he was thinking, I saw that washerman in the street, and I saw his face. So then we said, yeah, you see, you saw something, some casteless person. So that was interesting. So they told him, no, we should catch him and kill him, because he did such a bad thing to the king of the whole country. So then the king agreed. Somehow he was in an angry mood. The kings, they can do anything. They have the power and the authority. So they captured the poor washerman, and he was threatened with life to end his life. But then this Minister Birbal heard about it also, of course. And then he was thinking, oh boy, for such a thing, a person will be killed. Oh boy. So he thought about it. Then he actually went to the king, and he said, what's happening? You want to kill this person? What's going on? Then king explained that, no, I saw his face, and then I fell over and my jaw became crushed. So then Birbal he said, wait a minute. You saw his face, and he gets. You saw his face, and you crushed your jaw because you say he's sinful. But what about this washerman? He saw your face, and he gets dead. So who is the more sinful one? So then the king realized, oh, this is ridiculous, and they forgive the. And he was let to go, of course, this washerman. So this is the story given by his Ajamidha Swami about how relative this auspicious, inauspicious, there's a relative and flickering in this world. But the actual spiritual auspiciousness, it is absolute and is based on pure love, which is eternal and non-flickering. So that is different from this kind of material auspiciousness, inauspiciousness. So this psychic movement is the ultimate auspiciousness for the spirit soul. Then we come to the fourth perfection, Vidya Varho Jivanam. This is the life of all transcendental knowledge. Vidya, of course, means transcendental knowledge, and avidya means material knowledge, like we have so many libraries, universities, books, nowadays internet with all kinds of avidya knowledge, or anything, unimaginable, either actual knowledge or material knowledge, or teacher's material knowledge, which is just lies and deceit that also exists. All this is avidya, which does not help the spirit soul. Only if you utilize such knowledge attained in the service of the Lord to do some service, then of course it's different. But generally speaking, avidya means material knowledge. But vidya, it is transcendental knowledge. It is not only that you can get vidya from the transcendental books and literature and lectures and so on, but it can also be revealed in the heart, like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, from the comes knowledge and so on. So vidya is the best form of knowledge that comes from the Lord. And for example, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, he was a humble, very low-profile sage, but he was so full of spiritual knowledge and so learning about the spiritual life and all that, because he had realized, so he could elaborate on all that. Although materially speaking, he was not in that sense scholarly or such. Vidya actually is a part of Svarup Shakti, of Krishna's internal energy. Svarup Shakti, Svarup means the true absolute form. Yoga, and it's Yoga Maya, it's the energy of the Lord, and who is because everything in the spiritual world is personal, so who is the supreme energy of the Lord? Of course, Srimati Radharani, who is the perfect example of a service to the Supreme Lord. So Vidya is, in a way, consort, wife. Vidya comes from the word Vadhi, wife. Harinam is the husband, and Vidya Vadu is Bhakti is Srimati Radharani. So that's interesting how His Holiness Bhakti Swarup Maharaj said this one. So about this Vidya, another example of how it's not dependent on book learning. There was one devotee, not normal devotee, and he was in some place, I don't remember what place he was, but he was there and he held the Bhagavad Gita and he was crying. But the Bhagavad Gita was upside down. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approached him. Why you cry? You're even keeping the book upside down. What's going on? So he explained that he is meditating on how Lord Krishna, or his Supreme Lord, he is taking the position of a normal chariot driver for his devotee Arjuna. So he thought that is so fantastic. So he could just cry. It was so wonderful. So that's spiritual Vidya knowledge. And then there is perfection number 5, Anandam Buddhivardhanam. The increasing transcendental bliss. Because we are Anu Atma, we are small spirit souls. Jivatma is said in the Shastra, it is 10,000 of the tip of a hair, so it's very, very minute. So that means our happiness and bliss must also be very small. No, it's not. Transcendental life is mysterious, that our bliss in service to the Lord can be very fantastic, very, very huge. Ocean of bliss. Ananda Buddhivardhanam. And this ocean is increasing also all the time. It doesn't have limit in the way that we feel limits in this material world. If we eat something, we enjoy the eating for some time, but then it goes away if too full. Like devotees can have sometimes competition in respecting prasadam, but then they have a competition in sleeping for next 2 days. So, but yes, expanding ocean of bliss is waiting. In Haribhakti Sudadaya, there is prayers by Sri Prahlad, Maharaj Nrsimha Prahlad Ki Jai. And he was saying that now that he has seen the Lord Nrsimha personally, he compares now the bliss of Brahmananda, the impersonal realization of God, the Shunya happiness, as just some water in the footprint of a calf, very small, compared to the ocean of transgression in association in service to the Lord. There is three kinds of happiness. There is boga, which is the material, sensory, and mental enjoyments of this, and there were intellectual enjoyments also categorized into that. Jnana, the intellectual scholar, and get gain from fame and so on. That's also material. The boga, it is like we call that happiness like a fart of a bumblebee. It's very, very small and very, very transitory. And the Brahmananda can be compared to the water in the footprint of the can be lasting, but somewhat lasting, but it's also small compared to Premananda, which is our actual identity as spirit souls, servants of the Supreme Lord. And then the sixth perfection is Pratipadam, that this bliss, ocean of bliss in Krishna consciousness, in Sankirtan, that doesn't have gaps, like I was telling about this eating or some other material happiness, that it's for some time and then there's a gap in the happiness and then next happiness might come or might not come. We don't know our future, what it will be. We might make plans, but for example, there was some huge earthquake now. Somebody has looked at the news, and so many thousands or millions of people, they have plans for the next day, but then they have this huge earthquake and the house crack, and now they are thinking that whether we get repaired for 50,000 to repair a crack, or the house completely demolished and where will I sleep next night. All that happiness plans, all gone. We never know when such things can happen to ourselves. Param param viparam, there is danger at every step in this material world. So no gaps in the spiritual bliss, because that has to do with our true inner nature in loving service to the Supreme Lord, and it is constant, and it doesn't have such possibility of gaps in it. And then seventh question, Sarvatma Snapanam, Paravichayata Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. And here is the idea that this Premananda is completely pure, completely free of egoism, of selfishness, any ulterior motives, truly transcendental, truly completely pure. There is a story about Srimad Narada Muni, who is a transcendental, spiritual, very, very dear to the Lord. Narada Muni is also very much present in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Purana. There are stories about him and his travels, and of course he was the one who advised Srila Vyasadeva personally to write the Vedas, known as the four Vedas. And then Vyasadeva met with Narada Muni and said, he said, oh, I'm not so happy. Something is amiss. I have told about so many religious things and the yagya things, the yoga things, and knowledge about this material world and spiritual world and things, but something is missing. And then Narada Muni advised him that yes, you need to describe the spiritual world and the love for Krishna. And then he wrote the Bhagavad Purana. So the story about him, Narada Muni, that is, that he met Lord Krishna personally at this instant, and then Lord Krishna said, I have a headache. I need the dust of the lotus feet of my devotees. That will remove my headache. But then Narada Muni said, oh, it's us who take the dust from your lotus feet. There is nothing, and it will be an offense if I take my dust from my feet and put on your head. So Narada Muni refused. So Lord Krishna, he said, okay, you go to the gopis, ask them for the dust so I can get rid of my headache. So then he went to the gopis, and then the gopis said that yes, if the Lord's headache can be cured by dust from my feet, then take like a buckets of it. And Narada Muni was thinking that, what, are you not afraid you go to hell because such an offense? What? If the Lord can be relieved of his headache for 1 second, then I can go eternally to hell, no problem, because he is our Lord and we love him. So that is the unconditional, perfect love that seeks only the pleasure and the satisfaction of the object of love. So that is the seven perfections. Is there any questions or comments at this point? Something? Anything? Yeah.
There's something that I have been pondering the last week or so, which is that the standard of Bhagavad Gita, and just starting to read Srimad Bhagavatam, is so high that the service to Krishna, you cannot have any own agenda to do it. You must completely renounce all desire, and even to the point that the desire to be with Krishna or pass through this life, you even have to let go of that in this material world. And
this last one, even the desire
to be with Krishna afterwards, because you cannot ask that because that's still desire. And the standard of that seems so super high that I contemplate whether that's actually a good goal to have in this life at all, because it's so high that it pretty much feels like that's going to be misery my whole lifetime, just to know that I can never maybe get to that. So is there some advice that you could give towards dealing with it? Because just to finish, I think it's still good to have that aspiration at the goal, but still at the same time it feels so unreachable.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Of course, to desire to be with Krishna, it is a very nice desire. Nothing wrong with that compared to some material desires to enjoy one's body, mind, and so on. But the Lord says that even if we think that desire to be with Him is not good, we shouldn't worry about these kind of things. Because the Sankirtan movement and the chanting of the holy name that will help us transcend all this dust which we have is also dust of all these different material desires. I'm maybe not the perfect person to answer that about the seeing Krishna question. But here it says, in this age of Kali, the process of worshipping Krishna is to perform sacrifice by chanting the holy name of the Lord. One who does so is certainly very intelligent, and he attains shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. So trust the process, just do the process associated with what is. For it's achintya, we are thinking for myself so much in Maya that one might think that, oh, how can I ever become so pure that I want to do anything for the Lord and for the devotees, not thinking on my own needs at all. Of course, we do think somewhat of our own needs to be able to maintain service, take care of the body and the mind. The amount. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he said that devotees, they have different material and psychological needs that should be met for the society to function, for us to go on our service and go on with our purifying our heart, practicing this Krishna consciousness. So it's good to understand these things and study Srila Prabhupada's speech to understand more how it is and ask spiritual advanced questions about it. Does it answer anything else? Everything's clear, no doubts, nothing. Is it time? Is it finished puolelta?
Joo.
Joo. Okay.